Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gable.
And my name is Jacob Wirtz, guys. Welcome to Season 3, Episode number 11.
Number 11, we're buzzing.
We are buzzing through Season 3 here, guys. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you and welcome. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. We actually have 5 main formats of our podcast. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. In these episodes, we cover the mental side of things, okay? We talk a lot about our anecdotal experiences with mindset and mentality, things of that nature, just the different things we've gone through and the different methods we have used to overcome those different barriers. We hope to pass on advice so that you can use those things, use those ideas in your own life, okay? Next, we have Physical Vitality episodes. This covers the other half of our business idea here, which is combining the mental side of things and the physical side of things into one business, one brand. So in these Physical Vitality episodes, we get to showcase our expertise a bit. You have 2 certified personal trainers here. In these episodes, we cover the gym, workouts, diet, outdoor workouts, things of that nature. We cover, like in our last episode, we covered different programs, different physical programs,
sometimes even
programs,
news in the fitness industry or trends in the fitness industry. Yeah.
Yes, all of that. So that's what we cover in those episodes.
Nice, dude. So our third format, guys, is our breaking news format. Now, our breaking news format is a current event-based type of show. It could be how history connects to our current day events, what's going on current day. We could go over a couple articles. That's a pretty common thing we do just because articles are a great way to then bring you and show you guys the information. We also give our opinions on that stuff, and we call it the bullshit going on in the world a lot of the times. Now, our fourth format, guys, is our Knights Table episodes. That's what we have for you today. We love doing these episodes. They are masculinity-based episodes. Now, keep in mind, we're 2 24-year-olds and a 22-year-old. So we are bringing you along the journey of becoming a strong masculine man, good father when the time comes, a good husband when the time comes, and a great provider for this world when the time comes. Now, guys, our fifth format is our guest format. Now, the guest format, you can probably guess what that is. We sit down with somebody that brings you value in their field. It could be, again, fitness professional, entrepreneur, could be a mental health professional like we had back in season 2 with Mr. Trent Ruckman. Those are phenomenal episodes, guys. We love sitting down and just getting to chat with another person, getting that other perspective involved here, guys. And our final thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gable.
What's new, fellas?
There you go, YouTube. Now you get to see Money Mitch's face.
Yeah, we get to dox his face now, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
We have some new equipment again in the podcast studio, and we are now able to get Mr. Money Mitch on video.
Involved in the mess we got going on here, right?
Views are about to explode.
Yeah.
Probably.
They just triple just because Mitchell's in there.
Dude,
perfect.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this 3 times just because.
Oh, I probably, yeah. I'm gonna like double like it. Is that a thing on YouTube? Wait. Yeah, don't take my advice on YouTube, guys. Just like, comment, and subscribe on there. That's it. Just keep it basic.
Yeah, we are on YouTube. If you guys didn't know, if you guys like to watch podcasts, I personally like to listen to them. I know you guys both like to watch them as well.
Yeah.
But we are on YouTube, Untapped.llp, I believe, on there as well.
Yep.
If you look up Untapped, it usually comes up. Obviously, we are trying to get into more people's algorithms and new recommended sections of YouTube and Spotify. So, guys, that is why it is so important for you guys to share the show, because the more shares we get, the more we will get into people's algorithms that maybe haven't watched or listened before. Same goes for Instagram, obviously. When you're interacting with our posts, whether those are clips or our fitness posts, whatever, the more and more you interact with them, the more and more we can grow.
Yep. That's honestly the basic way to put it, because the more you guys interact with our stuff, you really support us. That is all free on social media.
Absolutely.
Whether it's comments, whether it's saving our posts and whatnot on social media, all that stuff helps us get in algorithms. You might not think, oh, it's just a like. No, it means a lot to us.
Right.
It really does.
And speaking of support, the outpouring of support we have had thus far on our first apparel drop for Untapped has been phenomenal. So many new orders coming in each day. We are trying to keep up with them all and getting them shipped out. Obviously, a lot of you are here in St. Louis, which just, guys, it means so much to us. The amount of support we've had, even people just talking about it, even if you haven't bought a shirt or whatever, just talking about it, congratulating us on it. It's a big deal for us. It is. It's a really big step for us, for our brand, for our company, and just the outpouring of support we've had so far. It means a whole lot. It really, really does. So, guys, thank you for that, and keep it up, please.
Yeah, a little wholesome intro for you guys.
Absolutely.
A little wholesome intro today.
But let's go ahead and hop into this topic, man. So
Fun
why don't you lead
topic.
us off here.
Fun topic. So we got a Knights Table, as we mentioned for you guys, masculinity-based episode. Now it's titled, as you guys read when you first clicked on the video and or listening now on Spotify, Apple Music, it is titled, "You Cannot Have Your Cake and Eat It Too." Now, a lot of us have heard this phrase
Absolutely.
at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
And usually it means that you can't have both things. You can't have everything gifted to you.
Right,
Not everything
right.
can go right. A lot of the times compromise is how this world works.
Sure.
Now, kind of starting us right off, we do have a video that is what we want to touch on right away and what we're going to break down right off the bat here. But yeah.
And this is, again, from a New York Post article, which is actually what we used for our Is 75 Hard Dangerous episode. Yeah. But the title of it, as articles do,
As headlines
they got to catch your eye.
Yep.
Says, "I'm a liberal. It's hard to find masculine men to date who aren't conservative." Okay, and we'll kind of get into that point a little bit later, but this will be linked, and you guys are actually about to watch it for those of you that are on YouTube. But Money Mitch, go ahead and do your thing. Play the first 23 seconds of that video, please.
Do you want to know one of the saddest realizations I recently had? Was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age, who is not a conservative. A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide.
All right. So after, dive into that a little bit, guys, my first thought off the top of the video when I remember I first saw this, I think I saw it either TikTok, Instagram, wherever, one of the social media sites, of course. And first thought that came off my head was the idea of the liberal and conservative she mentioned. I don't think it's about liberal or conservative in this case. I don't think it's about progressive or, whatever far right they call the far side or whatever. I don't think it's about either of the politics of that.
Domestic terrorists is what they call.
Oh, that's true. They do say that a lot. Yeah, they do. That's a common one. But the way I phrased it in my head is it's more about the traditional masculine and feminine side and the more non-traditional, I guess, what are you going to call it? Gender neutral and all that's the new stuff these days, the new wave of the last 20 years or so, maybe 15 years or so.
You're going gender neutral now?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what you're
transitioning. I'm going gender fluid, actually. Yeah, any day I can be one or the other.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's like Transformers. Yeah. You ever seen that movie, Michael Bay?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Of course I've seen those movies. Megan Fox was in them.
You're making
the good Megan Fox.
Yeah, not the demonic one or whatever she is now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
She's very unattractive now, I think.
Yeah, she
honestly.
is. But guys, I mean, the reason I say that and the reason we're saying this now about traditionally masculine and feminine is the problem is what we kind of gather from this video is that she's looking for a man with progressive values, it's not like traditional liberal, not like a JFK type of liberal, right?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of logic in that, as we've talked about. A lot of
sure.
times, they're the more empathetic side of things and whatnot. There's a lot of logic in the traditional liberal side of things. But I think what she's asking for here in this video, from what we can tell with context-wise, is the more progressive side. And she's having problems with men splitting the bill with her is one of the things that she said, right?
Yeah, well, it's not only looking for the progressive values, but it's looking for someone who is liberal-leaning with those progressive things, but also has the traditional values of paying for the bill, opening doors, making first contact for a date, things like that.
Stuff usually more traditionally masculine and sometimes conservative, right?
Sometimes conservative, but I don't see it as a political thing at all.
Yeah, well, again, because you and I talked about our good friend. I mean, he is a definition of traditionally liberal, but he's very he still has masculine traits and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So
and he's just a good guy.
He's just a good a good dude.
He's an awesome dude.
Yeah,
but
he really is an awesome dude.
You're exactly right. He's a guy that just happens to think a little bit more liberally, a little bit more Democrat side of things than what we do. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to disagree on some things. Totally fine. Guess what? We can still have a great relationship with the guy.
I honestly, some of the best conversations I personally have ever had have been with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no doubt about it.
It was us three just hashing things out and whatnot. And it was never
aggressive. It was never dude, I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
It was never it was never in our head like, oh yeah, this dude is not a good person because of his values.
Yes, exactly. Never. Or it's not you can't be in my life, or we can't do other things because I only see you as someone that might vote Democrat. Like, how ridiculous does that sound?
Or in her case, you're conservative, I can't date you, is the idea. Is what
yeah,
she's thinking. Because even though you fit my traditionally masculine request of, again, paying for the first date, paying for most dates, honestly, I would say, being on the outside of the sidewalk, so you're protected from that type of stuff, opening doors. And again, I don't think it's an unfair request on her part, but she's also requesting for, it sounds like, less gender roles because of her, but at the same time, also wanting them.
Yeah, I know. That's
that's what's so confusing about it.
So I'm like, what are you wanting? What does your ideal man look like? Like, is there someone that you can be like, I want my guy to be like, this obviously isn't who it is, but I want him to be just like Tom Cruise. Well, like, is that person out there?
Right.
For her?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like she wants traditionally masculine, but again, she says here but she wants progressive values.
Right.
And that doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't mix.
It's highly unlikely. I mean, maybe there is men out there that do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's, from what we understand, it's a very low percentage of men, if there is any out there,
of the outside progressive people. We're not talking Democratic people or just normal liberal thinking people. We are talking about the far side of the left, and honestly, the far side of the right would play into that as well.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, I don't know. When we watch that, I'm just like, I don't know what she's looking for there. And the question I have to ask too, or the question that comes into my mind is, okay, you're wanting a man that looks like this, which is great. I think that's her innate femininity speaking.
Yes.
Like, hey, I want a traditional masculine man with these qualities that'll do these things. Okay, well, then I have to ask, are you bringing traditional feminine things into these relationships, into these dates, into your life in general?
Dude, yeah, that's phenomenal.
Well, because if you're not, then you're not going to find that traditional masculinity in a guy. You're going to find a weaker man who, we've talked about these low T guys, which is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Society.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's a legitimate scientific thing. But that's all you're going to attract, and that's actually kind of into our next point a little bit, and we'll get to that. But you girls also have to work with the guys a little bit here. Let's just say you have 4 things that a guy needs to check off for you to be interested in him as a partner. Okay. He fulfills 3 of those 4. And so you're just automatically he's not batting 1,000. He's not hitting 4 for 4 there.
Yep.
Like, I'm not interested. Okay. Well, if he's got 3 of the 4, that's pretty good. Is that 4th one maybe something you can work on him with? You can bring to his attention, like, hey, I would like to see this more.
Yeah. I'd like to see you in the gym more.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
Or how about we start going to the gym more? You don't have to just come at him, because he might not receive that too well. Maybe some guys will. You and I can say that kind of stuff to each other. Hey, man, like, it's time for me to get in the gym. It's time for you to get back in the gym. Like,
exactly.
Things like that,
Yeah.
But that's a different type of relationship, obviously. I'll stay on the point here. So that's maybe a way to approach it for you ladies. Like, if your man is maybe starting to slack physically, be like, hey, like, babe, let's start working out together when you're off work. I'll meet you at the gym at 5:30. I'll bring your clothes so you don't have to worry about packing the night before, whatever. Or the other way around. Maybe you talk to your wife or your girlfriend, guys, and say, hey, like, let's start going to the gym together, or let's start meal prepping together. Let's start reading books together, or I don't really know how that would work.
I mean, you could just sit down. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start reading the
Talk
Bible
about the
together.
chapter or whatever. Yeah, talk about the chapter of the Bible.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Let's start going to church, or a whole number of
list
different
of
things.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do 75 hard together. That could be a tremendous way to strengthen your bond. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It really, really could,
absolutely can.
I mean, hell, dude, the times that we've done 75 hard and like started at the same time, because we haven't every time, but especially that first time we did it 2 years ago, we started together. Like, I mean, that was freaking awesome for our relationship.
It probably helped build it, like, an extra 5 layers on our foundation of our relationship easily.
There's zero doubt in my mind.
Easily.
That's
in 2.5 months.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Which is insane.
And ladies, this goes too. So a lot of the times you hear these days, like, women will talk about their standards for men as well. At the same time, ladies, you have to be ready for that man to have standards for you as well.
Oh, that's
certain
a really
things
good point.
he requests from you as well.
Yeah.
If he wants you to be a feminine woman, and and you want him to be tall, like, that's a lot of times what you hear. Like, they want tall guys a lot
Which
of times.
is totally in our control.
Totally in our control. Yeah, totally. But guess what is in your control, ladies? Being a feminine woman.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe he might come home tired from work one day and he asks you, "Hey, babe, can you cook tonight?
Yeah.
Please."
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fair request, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's say he's fulfilling your financial requirements at that point in time. I think you can step up and help him standards wise in that area as well.
Not that it's transactional in that way, because we've talked about that any type of relationship is transactional as long as you're both bringing value to each other. And it's not like, hey, I'm making the most money in the house, so you need to cook dinner. Obviously not what he's saying there, guys, and girls that are listening to this. But he's exactly right. You know, if you're wanting, I'll just go back to how you said it. Be prepared for him to have standards as well.
Yes.
And don't be offended by that, and don't be hurt by that, but try to look at it in a productive way. Be like, okay, like if these are the things he's wanting, like if I truly want this relationship with this person, then I need to take a look in the mirror and find a way to get these things done. Same exact thing goes for us guys. If your girl brings things up to you, and this, most of this goes for if you're in a relationship rather than like a first date situation, obviously, because you have to find these things out about each other.
You can evaluate on a first date.
I'm not saying that you can't.
Right.
And these are definitely things that can be talked about either on the first date, prior to the first date, you know, because in today's dating world, the first date is not you really meeting that person. You know, you're really meeting that person through maybe DMs or texts.
Sure.
Or
that's a good point.
Whatever, you know, so
you kind of get to know them before the date a little bit. At least a little bit.
A little bit. Absolutely.
Which is weird, but yeah.
Yeah. And that's I think that's
the
just
world
today's world.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Which is why I think people from like our parents' generation sometimes don't have a full understanding of the dating dynamic of today's world. Not that we have a perfect understanding of it by any means.
No, by no means.
But we do know how to kind of, Money Mitch is shaking his head over
we're
there.
going to get that on camera. Perfect.
But, you know, it's just different is my point.
Yes.
But
I
Question.
Think, sorry, Mitchell, go ahead.
Question. So this is a Pew Research article, and it states here, in 2019, roughly 4 in 10 adults aged 25 to 54, 38% were unpartnered, neither married nor living with a partner. And then here it says this share is up sharply from 29% in 1990. Do you guys believe this type of culture plays into this, where you're trying to take the cake and have eat it at the same time?
These other values. Say it again. What year was the 38% from?
2019.
2019. Okay.
So there's a large majority of the U.S. population who is not married. I mean, there's a high percentage of women in their 40s who aren't married, and there's a high percentage of men who are in their 40s who aren't married. And that's a very, very sharp
25 to 54 is a very reasonable age, too, to be living with a partner or to be married.
Yes, and I'm saying
38% is a high number.
We're seeing a very sharp increase of people who are single, maybe even throughout their life, simply because of, could it be related to this topic?
Yeah, and I think some of that relates to the easy access to the different dopamine type things like porn, OnlyFans.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Some sides of social media, not all of social media, obviously, but some sides of it, to where if you want to see hot chicks or you want to see hot dudes, you pretty much just have to open your phone.
It's that easy.
You know? And we've talked about that either in a past EX Gentleman.
It was season
EX
2
Curve,
in
maybe.
EX Gentleman, yeah.
That's somewhere back in the feed. But Mitch, I do think that a part of the reason that number is rapidly increasing. I mean, what was that, a 20-year span? Would you say 1999?
30-year span,
Yeah, 1990 to 2019.
1990, so 30 years basically. Yep. Yeah. And I think absolutely it does.
Yeah, and that goes into like having standards for both sides and whatnot as well. That definitely matches up.
Because
really
standards are dropping in that time period.
Yeah, standards are tending to drop.
Yes.
And then, and honestly, guys, an easy way to do it again, like we were just talking about standards. We were just saying, like, ladies, if you want your man in the gym, take him to the gym with you. Now, if he wants you to go to the gym with him too, and your physical standards are slipping as well, that streak does go both ways.
Absolutely.
You know, like there should be a maintenance of physical standards on both sides.
Yeah.
Man and woman as well. And that doesn't just go for physical standards, of course, but
financial standards, emotional standards.
I mean, you said the standards are going down. I think that's true, because you hear more and more people just putting less and less effort into relationships, doing the bare minimum to get by. It's like the quiet quitting with work and whatnot. Doing the bare minimum to get by a lot of times with relationships, and they take work. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And I mean, again, both of our sets of parents here are a great example of that.
Great example. They
put work in weekly, if not daily, to maintain the marriage.
Absolutely.
To maintain the marriage. It is what it is. If you let standards slip on either side, man or woman in the scenario, it's not going to end up well. And you're going to end up in that category of the 38%, 25 to 54 that are single in some way.
Yeah.
One thing I think is interesting, it's a proven fact that folks who are unmarried or single typically have worse health than those who are married or in a relationship. They have worse financials. And there's a myriad of factors here that indicate that never being married or being single, not finding a partner who reflects your values or complements those values, lead to a lower quality of life a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that it's been said, and we could find a quote or numbers or whatever, but was it maybe Andrew Tate or maybe the whatever podcast? I don't remember.
Or maybe Chris Williamson. He's
These
another
guys
one that
listen to
quotes
Tate.
statistics.
Don't listen to them.
Yep.
wrong.
Our opinion's invalid.
But basically, it was actually, it might have been on a Fox News segment they had two guests on, and it had nothing to do with Fox, but it had a guest, a male guest, and a female guest.
Okay.
Female guest was in her 30s, I believe, and was a CEO of a company.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Was making the bag, like was making money, was single, unmarried, no kids, living alone. This male guest, it's a big name. It's frustrating me that I cannot remember who this was.
Was it Jordan Peterson?
No, it was a younger guy.
Either way.
Younger
Either
guy.
way.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. He was saying that you would actually be happier if you were not working and had kids and were married than you making the bag right now, being single, no kids, no boyfriend, not married, nothing.
Yes.
And she was taking offense to that because she thought that he was saying women shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Women shouldn't try to
Which is her
progress
taking
in a
out of
company,
context there, yeah.
which is obviously not true.
Was it Gavin McInnes? I think that's who it was.
Could be.
Almost 100% sure it was Gavin McInnes. Yeah, because I think I know exactly what clip you're talking about. But you're absolutely, because he's absolutely right. Because family is the actual fulfillment in this world. That's
Yes.
The people I get the most fulfillment out of are my closest friends and my family.
Yeah.
100%. My
Absolutely.
mother, father, my brother, and my closest friends.
Right.
Easily.
Your other freaking brother. It's me.
Blood? Low key.
Yeah.
we just do 23andMe, find out we're brothers. That'd be wild. That's weird. Sorry, guys. But yeah, exactly. Just lost. This video, I know what you're talking about. You're right. He was saying basically you would be happier, and he wasn't saying that she shouldn't work because she was probably doing a great job as CEO and whatnot.
Could be.
It sounds like if she's made the CEO, she's probably doing a good job.
Yeah.
That's assumed. So she can do it. But he was saying that her other option of being married with children and living at home and the husband taking care of her would be a happier option.
Feeling more. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, and we've talked about this.
Objectively, it's true.
Yeah. And in the female biology, like they are meant for motherhood.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
Like they are meant to have that connection. They are meant for that. And males are meant for other things.
Well,
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's, again, not saying that women or females should not work, because if you want to work and you want to make the bag, go for it.
Awesome.
If
Yeah.
we're both working, both making the bag, that's a double bag. Now our family's just freaking killing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do want to mention, because you want to put statistics to this. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good.
So I'm kind of flabbergasted looking at this. We can link this as well. So the median earnings for folks who are single, like unmarried, not have a partner, the median earning is $35,000.
Yikes.
The median earning for those in a relationship is $49,000. So that's a what?
$15,000.
No, that's a $14,000
Yeah.
difference. That's a massive difference
That's a
over
jump.
a lifetime.
That's a large jump.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's for just individuals, or that was combined? Probably individuals, I would guess.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is pretty wild.
Well, let's think about
Yeah.
it. So, and I'll go back to what I was going to say there for a second, because it's a couple that we don't necessarily know personally, but we know that is a great example of two people making the big bag that are killing it.
Let's go.
But I think if you think about those statistics, Mitch, if you're in a committed relationship, you're married, you have a family, any number of those or all of them, you're going to be more driven to do better at work. You're going to be
100%.
more driven to make more money. You're going to be more driven to try and get promoted within your company and things like that.
Yes.
And to hammer home that point, I'm reading another one.
Yeah, I saw his eyes bug out.
Living arrangements. So the percentage that live in your parents' home, those who are in a relationship, 2%. The living arrangements that's a good thing.
It's a really good thing. Yeah,
right?
when you're in a relationship, you probably should be living with your parents.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Things happen, though.
Those
Yeah,
who
no,
are
they do. No, yeah.
those who are single or not in a relationship, 28% live with their parents.
In that same age range, that
Yes,
25
this
to
is
40.
same
25.
category, yeah.
This is 25
Yeah.
to 54.
Wow.
26% difference.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
But again, it's what you just said. If you have the wife, if you have the husband, if you have the kids, there is more motivation.
you have another why.
That is like jumps to the top of your why list.
Absolutely.
It is your family.
It should.
Because right now, my why is an eventual family, but it's not
Absolutely.
the same as having a tangible family.
Sure.
It's not.
Sure.
So you're like, well, I gotta get out there and get shit done.
Right.
You have to. That's a
Right.
great point on your part
Yeah.
there. That was phenomenal.
Well, and who I was going to reference was Sal and Raquel Frisella. Sal is the president of First Form.
You can just tell they're great people. We haven't even
runs-
met them.
Runs the company now, for the most part, is what it sounds like. So obviously he's killing it. Okay. And then
He might be doing
Raquel
okay. Yeah.
has her own aesthetics company
Yep.
here in St. Louis also. And it's doing really well. Anytime you drive by it, it's just filled with cars.
You can just tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
You drive by it, or you even like look in there. It's beautiful in there.
It's awesome. It looks awesome.
It is. Yeah. It is a phenomenal facility from what I can tell. Again,
A lot of beautiful women in there too. I ain't going to lie.
wow, he said it on the pod. I wasn't even going to say anything. There is Raquel Frisella Aesthetics. You do have some very beautiful women in there.
Yes.
Congrats to you guys. That's awesome. Your products must be working.
Yeah, right. But I think, without knowing these people personally, just from the outside and the way they talk about each other, the way they interact with each other, what they show to the world through social media, and obviously we've already mentioned our sets of parents, so that's why we're going to another source here. They're killing it. They're killing it. And Sal has amazing things to say about being a husband and being a father. I mean, amazing things.
Yeah, he does.
And Raquel mirrors that from the female side of things.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Basically,
You can tell how devoted she is to him and
Yeah.
how much he is to her.
Yeah.
It is very like you can tell it through social media, and honestly, I could tell it at Summer Smash. I mean, I don't know if I told you this, but it was so funny. They were on the side of the stage when the Chainsmokers were up there, and they were just having
no big deal.
No big deal at all. Chainsmokers, Chainsmokers concert. No, not a big deal at all. Yeah, Mitchell's chirping words right now.
I did not go.
But
I couldn't go. I didn't go. I couldn't go. Thanks, sis.
but sorry, Sarah. What's it called? But they were on the side of the stage during Chainsmokers, and you could just tell like they were having a bunch of fun together. Like Sal like carried her around the stage. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell they're like just devoted to each other. They just love each other, and he's having fun. He's dancing around the stage with her, like carrying her around, and it's like okay, it's possible to find
cool.
this because it's possible if two people hold equal standards, equal high standards in a relationship, and put the work in. It's possible to have a good relationship. It is.
Because the point we're making here, guys, is that you cannot be a lazy man, or really just because we've talked about both sides of the equation here, you can't be a lazy person and just expect to find a great partner,
It's not
great
possible.
boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. You need to be always self-improving. You need to be fit. You need to be finding new ways to make money, which also kind of goes into learning new skills. Applicable skills as well,
Yes.
and if you're not doing these types of things, and there's plenty of other examples, those are just the ones that kind of rattle off the top of my head here. If you're not doing any of those things, like you're not putting in the work to be the best partner that you can be. So how are you going to attract and or keep a great partner?
Yep.
And there's obviously other things that go into that, but we both have personal experience with those types of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, really hard, and it sucks, and it's tough because you kind of have to call yourself out. You can't wait for someone else to do it, because if you do wait for someone else to do it, like, one, you may not listen because it's going to feel like someone's coming at you.
Yep.
And no one ever wants that, even though sometimes it is necessary. But you may not take it. You may not take action with that. And I think if you're able to have a real conversation with yourself, like why am I continuing to go on shitty dates? Why am I continuing to meet these people that just don't align with
low
anything?
quality, yeah.
Anything I want. And maybe that's what that girl was going through in the video. You know, just continually finding these bad dudes who just are not bringing anything productive to the table, nothing of value. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe the problem is you. Not like, that's maybe a bad way to word that, but are you doing the things that you want for someone else?
Let's hope what wasn't happening. I'm really hoping this wasn't the case. Let's hope she wasn't going out with conservative men, and then the minute she's enjoying the date, she's loving it, like they're connecting on a lot of levels value wise, and then she hears that he's conservative, and then she is like, nope.
Right.
That's what I'm worried did happen.
For sure.
That sounded like that's what did happen.
Kinda. It does kind of sound like
So
that, yeah.
you're basically saying you just screw all the values that you just listed. You want a traditional masculine man just because he voted for Trump.
Yeah.
So Wirtz, that was a really solid tangent you were going off of in terms of relationship. It can accelerate and assist you in things far greater than everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
And last stat, I promise. But
Dude's just a numbers guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Quote, in 2019, the median earnings of men, and I wanted to bring this up because obviously we're all guys. This is sort of a guys-focused podcast, Knight's Table.
Yeah, sure.
Quote, in 2019, the median earnings of men without a partner were $35,600, lagging far behind those of partnered men, $57,000.
Wow.
So partnered men make 20 grand more, and this is in 19, so a little bit of stale data, but 20 grand more on average than those who are single. And what's interesting here is it talks about the difference in women. Unpartnered women, it's 32,000. Partnered women is 40,000. So I wanted to bring that up because we see it's a far greater gap with men, and I'd kind of like,
Because that's our reason.
Exactly.
The family is our reason.
100%.
No matter how you put it.
Right.
We are the ones who are good at being providers. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We are very, very good at being, especially financial providers. That's because that's the easiest example to go off of in a relationship. That's true.
100%.
And again, guys, because Wirtz was mentioning personal experiences, this is me being pretty vulnerable here. I did have, I don't know how long ago it was now, a year and a half, 2 years, whatever ago it was.
I feel like that was maybe last year.
Maybe.
Last summer,
You might be right.
Maybe.
But I did have a relationship a little bit ago, and like for however long it was, a month or whatever, where basically she said she wasn't going to actually take me seriously because she was a high performing woman and I was not earning, because we're building this, I was not earning a high level of money.
Right.
So it's happened to me, guys.
Yeah, but
You know?
now the good thing is she was just honest with you though too.
Exactly.
She just like
I
play
look back
game
and I'm
with
like,
you.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Right.
You know,
Right.
what you were looking for, your standard you were looking for, I didn't fulfill.
Yeah.
Fair.
And that stings in the moment, but
Oh yeah,
it's
stung,
honesty.
It stung like a bitch.
Yeah.
That hurt. But
yeah.
is she wrong? Is she incorrect?
Right.
You know, should I be earning more money?
we've talked about this,
Yeah.
the no options mentality. I think, say, we see this with a lot of folks who may have kids younger or who may have kids on accident. They really step up because they know there's no option. They have to provide for that child.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. So therefore, you're going to step up your game tenfold because you have a huge why right there.
Huge why. Yeah. Absolutely. And it obviously depends on how you evaluate that situation, because there's a lot of guys that are not high value that just dip
Go out to get milk.
on the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
no,
true.
right. Go out to get
Yeah.
milk and never come back.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Absolutely.
That
unacceptable.
is-
It's completely unacceptable.
That is a
yeah.
standard. That makes me, it makes me beyond mad because it is something that should never, ever, ever occur.
Absolutely.
It is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's a cowardly thing to do.
Well, and like you knew the potential consequences of having unprotected sex, and you chose to not take it seriously. You know,
Truthfully, again, you put your penis inside of someone. There's consequences that come along with that.
absolutely.
One way or another.
Right. Right.
So you gotta accept those consequences.
There's no
you
doubt.
You did it, dog. Like it is what it is.
Right.
You were the one who committed this act.
For
and,
sure.
And guess what?
For sure. Guess
Guess what that act leads to? Procreation and children.
Right.
Surprise, dude.
Right.
You're now a father. Step up to the plate.
Yeah. 100%. I think the way we just said it there, it's absolutely unacceptable. I 100% agree with that. And so, guys, the overall idea here is just girls and guys, when you are looking for a specific set of values, a specific set of skills, or just properties that a person might hold,
Yeah.
you know, if you are continually running into people that don't hold those things, you may need to look at yourself. Okay, am I bringing these things that these guys are wanting, or am I holding myself to a high standard? You know, am I working on myself physically? Am I working on myself mentally? Am I learning new skills? Am I trying to make more money? Am I, I don't know, what are some other things? Like,
I mean, truthfully, like you kind of hit it on the head.
That
with those
at
things.
least
like,
covers the
that covers
basics.
the absolute majority of it.
Yeah,
it really does.
right,
I mean,
right.
Again, you could be like, are you trying to get with a strong Christian woman, and your faith is really lacking?
Yeah.
Probably not going to go so well.
Yeah, right, right.
That's a pretty big value to have.
How do you expect to relate to that person?
No, you're not going to.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
And yeah, again, guys, Wirtz's point there is you have to also be realistic about your position with it. Like in any type of dating, you need to understand where your standing is in this scenario.
Yes.
Because again, if you're a woman that's trying to look for a guy who makes millions of dollars, you have to be a pretty high value woman to be able to get to that point.
Absolutely.
And the same thing, if you're a guy who is looking for a high value woman with strong Christian motherly values and who is going to nurture and take care of you and the family, you have to be a high value man
Absolutely.
that is financially capable, that is physically capable, that is et cetera.
Absolutely. I think that hammers it home right there. I really do. So guys, I know you got a lot of value out of this conversation. Both sides. I think there's a lot of good things that you men can take away from this. There's a lot of good things that you females can also take from this. And so just really take into account what we're talking about. Don't do what the current day media does and take everything at the bare level and try to only hear what you're wanting to hear to make us the enemy, because what we are saying is not wrong. Okay? Not that we're always 100% right, but the basic idea of what we're going over here is absolutely correct.
Yep.
And that's exactly why we did a Knight's Table episode on fitness being the bare minimum.
Yep.
That plays right into this. A lot of overlap in those two episodes. This one and that one. So guys, really, really think about it. Really take a look at yourself. If you are continually to run into people that you're just not interested in, or you don't line up with, or you're having bad experiences with, like, you might have to look at yourself. Be like, what am I bringing to the table? Like, am I bringing high value properties to these relationships, to these interactions, to these people that I'm meeting? If you're not, you need to figure it out. And we gave you a lot of actionable things to do there. The self-improvement, being fit, learning new skills routinely, finding ways to make more money, things of all of that nature, okay? And it'll go back into our last episode too.
Yes.
Maybe something like 75 Hard will help you get on track. And in that one, we give you a lot of actionable steps as well. So for those of you that are new listeners, at the end of every episode, Money Mitch, our wonderful producer, who is now on camera, asks us.
He's like, I just hate being
I
on
think
camera.
he hates it a little bit, but he'll get over it. We're paying him millions of dollars, so
Mitchell's salary $5 million a year.
why I still
Our
wait.
salary $20.
That's why I still wear gray sweatshirts, huh?
exactly.
Ah,
Hey, dude, some of the richest people don't care about fashion.
yeah. You ever seen
I
Al
know.
Hormozy dresses?
True.
I don't know
Dude,
who
just
that
what?
is.
Dude,
Andy just
Alex
wears
Hormozy.
black.
That's true. Andy.
I don't know
But he
who
just
that
wears
is
black
either.
Clothing.
He looks jacked.
You know who Andy is?
Who's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's true. He kind of sucks. So yeah,
He's fired.
yeah. And no more producing.
Anyway, at the end of all of our episodes, Money Mitch is going to ask us a Q&A question that is submitted by you guys, the listeners or the viewers. So the best ways to submit these questions to us are our Instagram DMs, either to our personals or to our Untapped account, preferably to our Untapped account.
Yep.
Our email, which again is on our Instagram. There's just an email button, but that is still actually extricationfitness@gmail.com. Tell us them in person. We'll leave them in the comments on YouTube. There's a whole lot of options to get us your questions, okay? And we would be more than happy to listen to them.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mitch, go and do your thing.
How do you become brutally honest with yourself?
Whew. For me, anyway, personal experience, how do you become brutally honest with yourself?
In everything.
Yeah. So for me, what I do at least my method to it, is I literally get in front of a mirror and literally talk to myself and am literally brutally honest. And there's a lot that kind of goes into this question, I think. So the book I'm currently reading is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. So this actually plays pretty solid into this question. And I'm not all the way through yet. I'm pretty close to actually finishing it. But one of the main things that it talks about is the more and more you tell yourself something, the more and more you become it, good or bad. So if you're someone, I'm going to use you as an example, actually, Gable, here. You're always late, right? Okay? You're always late to things.
I am. Yeah.
So that's it, though. You always tell yourself that, I'm the late guy.
Yep.
I'm always late. I'm going to be late. People know me as a late guy. The more and more you tell yourself something like that, the more and more you're putting that out and that you're just going to be that. You don't want to be the late guy, though, right? You don't want to be known as that. That's not a good thing to have, And you've gotten a lot better about it over the past year or so. I will give you that.
Definitely.
But something like that. This isn't just a roast session on Gable here, but that's a good example.
I can take it, guys.
Well, that's a good example of something that it literally talks about in the book. Like, that is a direct example.
And anytime I've told myself, hey, I'm going to get after tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. I can do this. I can get up and get moving.
Right.
I do.
Right. And so my point being here, when you talk to yourself, when you're trying to be honest with yourself, if you are continually being negative, you're going to continue to get negative situations for yourself. Okay? So when you're being brutally honest with yourself, don't just tear yourself down. Okay? You might have to be real about some things, but you don't need to sit there and be like, you're such a fat piece of shit, Jake. Like, oh my gosh. And listen, like, sometimes it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because you want to tell yourself that. And when you start to recognize how often you say things like that to yourself, like, man, no wonder I keep finding myself tired, in a negative mood, not wanting to be productive, not having, any motivation to go to the gym or to do things I enjoy. What if I try to flip the script here? Be honest with myself, like, hey man, we're putting on a little bit of weight. Okay. Wasn't intentional here, but right now we need to start fixing it. Right now we are going to start being better on our diet starting today. We're going to be getting back in the gym consistently starting today. Okay. So my point is, to be brutally honest with yourself, you cannot just be negative. You can't. Because it's just going to lead to more negativity. And since reading this book and reading The Secret, which I know I told you both a lot about, which it's 1A and 1B are Can't Hurt Me and The Secret. I mean, honestly, as far as my favorite personal books. And obviously there's so many great books that we've read. So maybe that's an unrealistic ranking. Jocko's a beast with Extreme Ownership. But anyway, The Secret is a great, great book. If you have not read it, read it. And it's all about the law of attraction, visualization, things like that. And I mean, that shit is real.
Bringing the right stuff towards you.
Bringing the right stuff and how to do it. And how to do it. And so what to say when you talk to yourself also kind of goes into those things just in a bit of a different way. But I guess the way to be brutally honest with yourself, that would be my answer. Yeah. Is you can't always just be negative, but you have to find a way to curate it to yourself that will still be positive, that is not going to just discourage you.
Listening to you, it sounds like you could apply that to a relationship as well. If you're constantly tearing down your partner, it's not going to lead to a good relationship.
Exactly.
But if you lift each other up, it's going to be a lot better than just one person lifting each other up. A rising tide raises all ships. You're going to be
100%
pulling them up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Yeah, dude, that was great. By the way, that conversation you said, like, hey, put on some weight. That to me came off as a very positive conversation.
Yeah.
A very well-intentioned conversation was the way I described that.
And so you're calling out the problem, and then you're also giving the solution.
And you're not like killing yourself, basically. You're like I don't mean like killing yourself. I mean like killing yourself like,
well, but
dude,
some
what are you
people-
doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like that. You're not beating the crap out of yourself. Yeah.
And some people do that so much that it literally does lead to suicide.
Exactly.
And real depression and real obesity and stuff like that. You're just like, I'm the fat guy. Like, I'm fat.
Yep. I'm the fat friend.
I've always been fat.
I'm the funny fat friend. Yeah, I've heard that so many times. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, dude, if you keep telling yourself that, like, you're going to believe it.
You're going to be, yeah.
So start telling yourself different things.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
anyway.
I would say being brutally honest with myself, one of the things that actually really helps me get in a proper mindset for it is praying. A lot of times, like, I just going out on our deck and just getting down in the nitty gritty with God.
Yeah.
With a lot of times that helps me a lot of times get in the right mindset, because again, it's not like I can feel him responding to me, but I can almost feel him turning the conversation to the right way. Because I go there, and again, I don't want to always go to him with problems. I try not to always do that, but if I do go to him with a problem, I feel like I can feel the conversation turning the right direction. And that helps me a lot of the times, again, go to the creator of the universe and then allow positivity to then flow into me, and then actually take those problems and be positive about them.
Yeah.
Because again, one of my biggest things is that I tend, like I said, the biggest reason I failed 75 hard was I spiraled. I let things just stack on top of each other. And when I was just hard on myself, like, oh, you can't get up and get moving. You can't get up and get moving. You can't be productive. Again, I let it stack. And if I put myself in the right mindset, and that's why actually these last 3 months have been great after 75 hard, because I've just been turning it towards that positive tone. And again, my method is definitely praying, because I've had, again, like I mentioned on the past podcast, 2 really in-depth experiences with God through prayer. And so that almost just helps me instantly flip the switch the opposite direction from my negativity and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it puts me in the right headspace to then attack the sin that's going on, I would say, going at yourself and calling yourself the fat friend or the late guy or this lazy piece of shit and whatnot. I would say that's a sin. I honestly, that's you should not. You're put on this earth for a reason. You shouldn't treat yourself like that.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, that's my personal method. It took a while to be brutally honest with myself, though. I will say that, because I had to reevaluate my position even in past relationships where I was like, oh, that was totally all the other person's fault. Was it? Wow.
Whoa.
Dialed. Locked in. But yeah, was it?
Right.
So yeah, that's my thought process about it. Again, like you said, it's not easy. It is not easy whatsoever to be brutally honest with yourself.
And why do it if it was?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. If you're just, and I guess the other side of this too here real quick is, if you're only telling yourself what you want to hear, you're still not going to be productive, and things still aren't going to change, and you're still not going to progress.
Yeah, you're rich.
Well,
yeah,
you're not fat. More like that when
Right.
you are.
Yep.
Like, dude, you're not fat. It's just a couple pounds. Just a couple pounds. Like, you don't look that bad. When realistically, you've put on 10 pounds, you've put on 15 pounds, and it is that bad. So because there is an art to the, I do have money, I can afford this, I am wealthy, like I have wealth coming my way, things like that.
Yep.
And again, the secret and
law of attraction
and what to say when you talk to yourself both go into things like that. So it's more like telling yourself a lie by telling yourself the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that bad. So that's kind of the flip side. So that goes into, like, you're lying to yourself. That's not being brutally honest. That's thinking you're being honest, but really just telling yourself what you want to hear. So
Yeah, that's really good, dude.
Yeah. That's a pretty good question. Mitch, do you have anything to add to all that?
My opinion on it,
Yeah.
or how I approach it. I'll go a different way. So you guys, both of your guys, is kind of a mental way. Mine is a physical way. So I was actually talking to Jacob last night about this. The reason why I was fairly successful, or was successful with 75, is because I didn't think. I just did it. I was, you get home or you get off work, I wouldn't sit there and debate about going to the gym. I just went.
You just go.
And then I'd get home, eat food. I didn't sit down after eating food. I just went for my second
There was
outdoor.
no thought process for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
right.
It wasn't a. Let's do it. No, it's go,
Yeah.
go. There was that. That's why I kind of buy into the no option mentality, because there's no. When you give yourself options, you tell your brain, "I can do it tomorrow." You tell your brain, "I can lose that 10 pounds next month. I can not learn this skill until I need it."
Right.
And we discussed this too. Time, as we get older, only goes faster. It's a weird concept. But I was talking about with our good friend Sam James. Think about it. A 10-year-old, 1 year of their life is 10% of their life. When you're 50, 1 year, I think, is like 2% of your life. We don't have that much time.
Right.
There's no option. You do or you don't.
Right.
That's my way that I'm brutally honest, is I either do it or I don't. There's no in between.
Yeah.
There's no gray area.
Right. Right. And I think that's just a great way to always take action and never put yourself in a situation where you are contemplating like, oh, do I do it tomorrow? Do I do it next month? Like, nope, I just go. And like, I relate to that a lot too, especially on the program. You know, this is just what we do. You know, this is just what we do. If, you know, like you guys know, like some things have changed at work for me, just hours wise and whatnot. Like this is just what we do now. Is it ideal for everything I do? Maybe not, but this is what we do now. You know, for the time being, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with 75 specifically, I knew if I sat down, I was already dead tired. I'm not getting up off that couch. No. Stop lying to yourself, Mitchell.
Right.
Do it or you don't do it.
Right.
Period. The end.
Yep. 100%. I think that's a great addition there to the answers we gave there, Mitch. I mean, guys, how great does he look on camera? I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at that smile over there.
Jamie, pulled up. It's Mitchell.
All right, so guys, as we alluded to in the beginning of this episode, please share the show. It helps us grow tremendously, okay? So share it to your Instagram stories, share it with your friends and family via text, talk about it with them, talk about it with whoever. Our first Untapped apparel drop is live, exfit.bigcartel.com. That's also in our Instagram bio. You can just click it, takes you right to it.
Super simple.
That's our first Untapped apparel drop. Our second gym vlog has been up for a couple weeks now. We went to the sick gym in O'Fallon, Missouri, Project Power, and filmed our second gym vlog out there. We had a little leg day, a little lower body action, some funny stuff in there, but actually some really good informational stuff in there too that we kind of gave.
Yeah. Wirtz does have a Pinterest addiction. Really odd find we found out.
I told you we were not going to talk about that on the podcast. Damn it.
Through the teeth.
So guys, if you found value, which I know you did, please share the show. Until next time.
Thanks, ladies and gents.
Cause I'm a